Sunrise over De Wetsdorp in the Eastern Free State, headquarters for the 6th and penultimate round of the South African National Off-Road Championship for 1999. Teams in the field, the recently launched Leaf Russell Campbell Off-Road Racing Team.
We started the team 3 years ago, and it started on a fairly social basis. During the course of the last couple of years, we've had good results, and as a consequence of that, a lot of other sponsors have come along. We've got great support from Kawasaki, and we're taking life seriously now, and as a consequence, the results are showing through.
Our team is run on a different basis to the K team and the Cellular Auto. We're a serious team. We put a lot of money into it, but at the same time, we do have a lot more fun than the other guys.
One of the stars of the team, 200cc class leader Wayne Farmer.
Basically, I'm leading the championship by 12 points over Jeffrey Voliter and 19 over Rion. Rion's out of the picture now because he had a crash overseas, so it's basically between Jeffrey and myself. You know, we don't have to go out there and kill ourselves today. Basically, I don't really need to win. Just come in second or third place, keep the points gap, and we can take a championship. You know, we still got the roof left, so it's a bit of a odd situation at the moment, but it's in my favour, so we'll take it as it comes.
Also part of the Leaf Russell Campbell team, Clayton Enslin, who competes in the 250 category.
I've recently joined the team. Up to now, it's awesome. The friendship between everyone is so good. To be quite honest with you, it's probably the nicest thing to be in because everyone's such friends, and it's just before the race, it's just such good fun to speak to everyone, and out there everyone looks after each other. Someone crashes, you just know there's someone there always to look after you, and it's good to have some good support like that.
Well, fun and games it wasn't going to be, as Rob Campbell took the start first on his Yamaha, and he had a 30-second gap over Jade Goodsight on his Honda. The next three riders, Elmer Simons on his Honda, Errol Dalton on his 500cc Honda, and Darryl Curtis on his 250 KTM, were separated by only 3 seconds after the time trial. Next was Alfie Cox on his 380 KTM, second away in the open class, followed by Quinton Milton on his Honda, and leading the 200 field was Jeffrey Voliter on his KTM. Then a whole host of riders followed as they were set off on their first loop, and just like the car and quad categories, the total time on the day minus the starting time differences would determine the final result. Some 20 kilometers into the race, Jade Goodsight had already taken over the lead on his Autopage Cellular Honda, leading both the overall and the 250 classification. Goodsight had passed Rob Campbell on his CJ Yamaha 250 machine, who had been able to hold off the chasing pack since he had been demoted to second position. Elmer Simons on his Autopage Cellular Honda was still holding down third, having broken away from teammate Errol Dalton and Darryl Curtis, but he was being hauled in hand over fist by the incredible Alfie Cox on his Nitro Freight Castrol KTM, who had moved up to fourth already. Before the start, we caught up with current race leader Jade Goodsight.
Going to be a long race, a lot of lurkers, a lot of rocks. I'm lying second in the championship, so just got to take it easy and keep it together. See how it goes. A lot of dust, so take it easy in the rocks.
And what about poleman Rob Campbell and race favourite Alfie Cox?
Oh, it's such strong competition out there. It's the first time I've been in pole position, so I'm just going to take it easy. If the guys catch me off, good luck to them.
Yeah, look, I need to get 2 points on Errol Dalton after this race, and then I've won the championship, and then I can go to the Roof Africa worrying about the race and not the championship. So today is very important.
The final refuel point before the pits, and things had changed considerably as Darryl Curtis on his AGA LG Castrol KTM 250 had also passed Rob Campbell, as did Clayton Enslin on his Leaf Russell Campbell Racing Kawasaki 250, doing an incredible job to move up the order. Rob Campbell came in just as Enslin left the refueling point, and the battle was on for the top 5 positions, with the top motorbike riders having already caught up with some of the tail enders in the quad category. The route conditions were varied, with some very high-speed sections combined with tight and rough sections, which had already caused a number of tumbles. Into the pit area for the first time, and no surprises, as the man who had tamed the Paris-Dakar Rally 2 years in a row, Alfie Cox, came in the lead. Having started almost a minute behind the faster qualifiers, Cox had already passed all 5 of them, and there was still another 210 kilometers of racing to go. Jade Goodsight was down in second position, but doing a great job of keeping the rest behind him, with Darryl Curtis leading that pack, also seemingly running without too many problems. The pit area, situated in the center of the De Wetsdorp sports field, was a beehive of activity as bikes, quads and some cars raced into and out of the pits, each competitor trying to lose as little time as possible. Wayne Farmer on his Leaf Russell Campbell Racing Kawasaki 200 had also moved up the field. In the motorcycle category, Alfie Cox was once again being proved to be unbeatable, pulling out more than a minute over his rivals as he controlled the pace on his Nitro Freight Castrol KTM 380. Jade Goodsight had kept a cool head and a steady hand to remain in second position, doing a great job on his Autopage Cellular Honda 250 in the company of riders with much more experience. Darryl Curtis on his AGA LG Castrol KTM 250 was being chased for third by Clayton Ensslin on his Leaf Russell Campbell Racing Kawasaki KX 250. But Curtis was another victim of the grueling Caledon 400 conditions, and Ensslin soon caught up with Goodsight, who had the advantage of a marathon-sized fuel tank and didn't need to stop at all the refueling points. Up into fourth position now was Quinton Milton on his Autopage Cellular Honda 250, having started 7th in the morning. Alan Julian on his Miller Racing KTM 250 was up into 9th position overall, but it was the familiar sight of Alfie Cox taking the checkered flag that greeted the spectators at the finish line as he wrote yet another title behind his name.
It's been a hard race today. I mean, these loop-type races really makes for good racing because, you know, the guys know where they're going on the second loop, and it makes for unbelievable racing. And we've never had so close racing as we've had this year. And, you know, normally I can win by 10 minutes, but lately that's been, you know, 1 minute, 2 minutes. But, you know, I'm not really worried. If I can just get into the lead and, you know, maybe a little bit of experience and use the dust to my advantage. I've got a big horsepower bike. The KTM 380 is just, I think at the moment, the best bike. I mean, I've won 6 races in a row. I think that's a record. And now I'm happy with that because I've won the championship before I go to the roof. And for me, the Roof of Africa, 9 wins I'm going for. And I want to go and try and win the race and not have to worry about the championship. So today has worked out very well for me and I'm happy. I mean, it's just great.
A very relieved Jade Goodsight held on to his second position despite some heavy pressure from Clayton Ensslin towards the end of the race, with Ensslin finishing a relatively comfortable third position without having had to look over his shoulder too often. Quinton Milton was the next man over the finish line, also running with relatively few problems as a number of motorcycle competitors had suffered some heavy falls, causing quite a few bruises and even fractures. Elmer Simons was 5th over the line and 4th in the 250 class, also having passed pole position man Rob Campbell through the course of the day. Campbell wasn't too concerned about finishing 6th though, as he had decided early on not to push the pace and rather to learn the skills required by off-road racing. In the end, on combined times, Alfie Cox had beaten Jade Goodsight by only 1 minute, with a mere 12 minutes covering the top 6 riders. Things don't come closer than that in off-road racing, and the scene was set for the final round of the championship, the Roof of Africa in Lesotho in November. Taking a look at the class results, Wayne Farmer did extremely well to win the 200 class ahead of teammate Craig Arnold, with Goodsight taking the 250 class ahead of Honda rider Quinton Milton, while Cox took the open class ahead of his championship rival Errol Dalton.